Hi, dear language learners. So, the secret of actually reaching fluency fast in your next language is not the amount of years you study, and it's not memorization. Definitely not. The secret is actually not focusing on memorization. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly not only the steps that I use to reorganize my learning routine to actually not focus on memorization, but on the social psychology of learning and of reaching fluency. And first of all, I'm also going to explain to you the two theories or the fundamental laws of social psychology that you need to know that explain how we acquire social fluency. And I say on purpose social fluency because when we learn a language, and for those of you who want to speak the language, not to actually analyze, study, or just to read it, if you want to speak the language, it's all about the learning the social psychological patterns of social interactions. I'm a social psychologist, and on this channel I share with you the relational psychology, the social psychology, and the brain psychology, or the brain facts that you need to know to create that perfect study routine for you that is most effective for your own way of acquiring all the different codes of a new language. And please don't forget to download your copy of Everyday Nano, the 7 Steps to Fluency, which is available on my website. I put the link below in the description. And also I have a great announcement, which is, sorry, I am actually putting together the essence of all these tips I'm sharing on this channel as a 90-day self-improvement guide that I will publish at the end of this month with actually the exact daily steps you can take to reorganize your learning routine. And you can now register for that e-guide that I'm creating. You can get on the waiting list because when I'm publishing it, I'm giving away 50 free copies. So get on that waiting list, get registered now. I'm actually also doing this to get your feedback because those of you who will receive the free copies, I will ask, of course, how this resonates with you. Okay, but now let's start. So, first of all, here are the two social psychological theories. So the first one you need to know is schema theory. It was first developed by Piaget and then further developed in social psychology by Bartlett. I will put the sources, the scientific sources as well in the description for those of you who want to read further. So schema theory basically explains how in our brain cognitive frameworks are created for social patterns. What does this mean? Social patterns are all those codes that you actually have acquired since childhood to know how to behave and what to say when you interact with others in a social context. So this is all about social interaction and communication. And this is what you need to be fluent in any language, even if you're in your mother tongue. If you, as a child, if you don't acquire these social schemas, these frameworks for deciphering social context, you cannot survive in today's society. And this is actually what fluency is about. And if I have said before that the secret to fluency is not memorization, this is, I mean, I hear you. A lot of people say, but I have to still memorize the words. Yes, you will memorize them, but this is what I call acquiring or activating the words rather than memorization. What I mean, why memorization doesn't work is the passive study mode. So sitting there with a book or with social media post, trying to memorize a list of words. That is what I mean by memorization doesn't work. Because in that passive study context, you have no social interaction, you have no meaning, you have no meaningful pattern that you need to recognize, and you have no intention to communicate anything. So why would your brain hold on to that information? It's just like reading a book, it's information going in, but when you read a book, you're also in passive mode. You take in the information, but you will not memorize it for actual reproduction. And that is what fluency is. Fluency actually allows you to speak with another person. So we need to focus on actually training our brain to recognize these cognitive frameworks for these social situations rather than memorizing in passive study. That is the essence of the first one, that's schema theory. And as I said, I will leave the references so you can read up if you want to find out more about this. And the second one is the social learning theory by Bandura, which basically explains how we learn social interaction and social context through imitation and observation of others. Of course, this is what is also in learning theory. It is largely explained that children learn through observing their parents or learn through observing other adults, schemas, or schemas again, of how to interact with others. And this is why if you focus on fluency and getting fluency much faster and efficient, you can actually reach a far more efficient fluency already at beginner's level A2, let's say, than studying for years, focusing on passive study until you're on a B2 level, let's say, passive study. You can be far more fluent in this sense by focusing on putting yourself deliberately in imitated social interactions. So this is, for example, why in language courses it works so well to do role plays, why it works so well to actually simulate yourself when I have said that in one of my previous videos, when you live something in your everyday context, and when you then focus yourself in how would I say the same thing I've just said in my mother tongue in this situation now in my new language, because then you have a real situation. So the observation also can obviously happen if you observe other people, if you immerse yourself by traveling, by going to a country where they speak your new language. But also you can do this, and I've said this in my previous videos, you can do this from your home by watching every day in your study routine 5 minutes a film or some YouTube video where people interact in the target language. Now, so this is the two theories. So it's the schema theory and the social learning theory. And now I want to share with you the exact 3 steps that I use in order to put this into practice. So step 1 is actually, and I've said that also, watch my video on how I use ChatGPT to learn Italian, my 5th language. And for those of you who are new here, who don't know me, so I have learned as an adult. So my mother tongue was German, and as an adult, I learned English. I then learned French, and then I activated Spanish. And currently I'm activating Italian. And I've said that also in one of my previous videos. Every time I applied more and more these social psychological theories, I realized I'm so much quicker. Watch my video on the fact that I went from 10 years for English to 2 years for Spanish, and you will see what I mean. And also leave me a comment, of course, if you want me to share more about how I learned these individual languages. I'm more than happy to share this. My passion is to get you on speed as well, because I suffered so much with my first foreign language. And had I known this earlier, but in those days, we didn't have even YouTube to share that. There were no books actually that focused on fluency. So I wish I had all this information back then. So my passion is now that you get this information in a timely manner. Okay, so now I will show you how the 3 steps that I use in my daily Italian practice. So I will switch on ChatGPT, the voice feature of ChatGPT. So let me see if you can hear this. Let me see. So it's starting right now. Hi there, ChatGPT. How are you?
Hi, Alexandra. I'm doing well. How about you?
I am well as well. Thank you so much. So, dear ChatGPT, please help me. I'm actually in a video with my dear viewers who want to reach fluency in a new language fast. I want to simulate now my study routine. So, my aim is to reserve a hotel in Italy, in Milano, and I want to learn 3 sentences that help me to actually reserve a hotel over the phone. Can you give me 3 sentences, please?
That sounds like a great way to practice. Here are 3 sentences that will help you book a hotel in Milan over the phone. 1. Vorrei prenotare una camera per numero notti, per favore. I would like to book a room for nights, please. Ayının er kamerası disponibile dahil. Do you have a room available from date to date? Quanto costa stanotte la colazione inclusa? How much does it cost per night, and is breakfast included? These will get you through the basics of making a reservation. Want to add anything specific, like asking about Wi-Fi or parking?
Oh, thank you so much. No, that will be the next step, but thank you for now. So now I have these sentences, and as you've seen, so the first step is to have a real situation. So I actually chose the real situation of wanting to book a hotel room. So this is step 1. You need to create an intention. You need to have a goal. So in my case now, I generated these sentences and I really put myself in the situation. I will do that in real life. So, and the great thing about ChatGPT is it generates you the script. So I can now practice, and that's step 2. And that one I do in my everyday 5 minutes that I have for my Italian study. I practice these sentences now. So for example, here I have vorrei prenotare una camera per 2 notti per favore. And this one, I will speak out loud at least 3 times until I can imagine myself saying that over the phone. I will, in the next step, also ask ChatGPT to give me a sentence for responding, no capisco, I don't understand. If somebody says something back to me and I didn't get a word. So, or for example, if they switch to English, how would I react to that? So that's step 2, to actually then practice that every day 5 minutes. And then step number 3 is to really live that situation. So next time you actually really want to book a hotel, you do that with what you have practiced. It's like preparing yourself for the next social situation. You can actually test that yourself, kind of think of what is the next thing you want to experience in your new language. Then prepare sentences. You can also, if you don't want to use ChatGPT, you can also use these sentences that you hear in a video, in a film, or from a book. But the sentences need to be adapted to your next goal, and then practice. Repeat these sentences. Talk them out loud until you're ready, and then live the situation. And you know what will happen in the third step? When you live the situation, you will actually so much have the feedback immediately. And remember, that's the social learning theory I explained before. As soon as you get feedback from other people and they will say, oh, by the way, that was very good, or that you could pronounce that in this way, that actually makes your brain acquire what you have just trained for. And this is the secret behind training for fluency. Memorization in a passive study context will just train you to actually recall a list of words, which is not helpful in any social situation. I mean, who will ask you for a list of words in a social situation? It just doesn't happen. Or even verb conjugations. This is, from my experience, the worst. I cannot memorize verb conjugations. If I do that, I feel like training for a poem back in school. And that doesn't help. You know, I really also training verb tables or verb conjugations gives me the feeling that I'm not advancing. And as soon as I have the feeling of not advancing, I will procrastinate and I will not move anywhere. So, dear language learners, please leave me a comment after having watched this video, how this resonates with you. I want to know how you design your perfect study routine, and also what you realize in these little tweaks that you make. As soon as you change one thing, what is the outcome? Let me know, and let's create a community around our language learning, polyglot experience, because I'm really passionate and looking forward to hear from you. So thanks for watching and see you next week in the next video.